All right, good morning, second year class, MUCT 211L. This is your midweek lecture for lecture for week 6. As promised in last Friday's class, we're going to be dealing with secondary dominance. There are many different ways that we can deal with secondary dominance. We're going to work on 3 kinds of secondary dominance specifically today, or 3 particular chord types. Not necessarily their inversions or other ways that you can deal with them. So let's try that. So we talked about this on Friday, but let's review among the most common of the secondary dominants is the 5 of 5. The 5 of 5. Let me make sure that I'm got enough room. Okay, you should be able to see this. Is the 5 of 5. Actually, you know what, I'm going to put, you shouldn't generally do this, but I'm going to put the chord symbol here. Alright, the 5 of 5. Okay. And the 5 of 5, remember, is often going to look like the 2, but raised into a major chord. Okay, and remember that this does not exist. There's no such thing as the major 2. Not even in minor mode, because it's diminished. The minor 2, it will appear to be something like that, with the 3rd raised. Okay. Its function is not that of the predominant 2, but it is tonicizing something that was not originally the tonic in the key. In this case, let's be consistent. This case, 5. In this case, 5. So, as we are kind of first learning our way through hearing the secondary dominants, I'm always, in these 3 examples I'm going to give you today, I'm always going to set up the secondary dominant with the chord that it is kind of built on. I don't want you to think that the secondary dominant, the 5 of 5, is built on the 2. It really isn't. It's 5 of 5. It has a dominant function to 5. But you might be able to think that it is. You could get, with no changes in voice leading, with just the sharpening of the 3rd of the chord, get from one to the other. So I'll start with the chord that you could think of it beginning with, add the note, and then go on to the secondary dominant. It might be a little easier for us to get through it. So that's how I'm going to deal. We're going to deal with the 5 of 5 right now, and I will approach the 5 of 5 through the 2, as I promised. And actually, let's go up here. Okay, again, we are going to start bass only. 6 chords, Do in the bass, major 1 in the space, since we are in major mode. We're going to start with the bass only dictations at first, and then I will add the SATB. This is number 1, so we want to come to class with number 1 prepared. Although, of course, you should know that next Friday I will not be here. I will be in New Orleans at that conference that I'm presenting at. So I will have something else for you to do, but we are going to go over this particular example. All right, let's go ahead and give it a try. The first one, we will begin bass only. I'll play it twice, and then we will go ahead and try the SATB. All right, here it is. Okay, again. All right, let me give you the voicing for the first chord now that we're doing it SATB. And let's listen to it twice in kind of a proper voice leading. Here we go. All right, now for number 2. Okay, for number 2 we are going to be dealing with a different secondary dominant. This one will be the 5 of 2. The 5 of 2. Okay, it will resolve as a secondary dominant should to 2. And the chord that it appears to be majoring, one that was minor before, is 6. So if we write a standard for a root position 6 chord, and we sharp the 3rd, it appears that we have a major 6 chord. We don't. There's no major 6 chord, not on the normal 6th scale degree. The lowered 6th scale degree, yes, that's what we get out of minor. But there is no major chord on La except as a secondary dominant. And then here we have, we're tonicizing. We've got that sol, do, and ti, do relationship between the secondary dominant and the thing that it resolves to. And we get that. Okay, so it's going to have a bit of a different feel. It's going to be a different feel because we're tonicizing the 2 chord instead of the 5. So we're not going to go as quickly to 1 because when we tonicize 5, go 5 of 5 to 5 to 1, it's a nice little circle progression. This is going to take just a little bit longer. Okay, but let's see if you can figure it out. I'm not even going to play the 5 of 2 for you. I want you to hear it because it should be pretty obvious where that secondary dominant is coming in. It's the chromatic sounding chord where you hear a non-diatonic tone. You know you're dealing with the secondary dominant in this case. This will also be 6 chords. Also be 6 chords. Okay, I'm going to start off again. Bass only. Bass only. 1 in the space. Do in the bass. All right, here's the progression. Okay, let's hear that bass only one again. All right, let me give you the voicing and then we'll do this SATB. Here we go. was number 2. Let's move on to number 3. Now, so far we have dealt with secondary dominants, which are by far the most common kind of secondary dominants, where you take something and then raise it, so something that perhaps was a minor chord, and then you raise it to make a major chord. That indicates that is a secondary dominant. But what about something built on something that is already a major chord? And that brings us to the 5 of 4. Now this is a little bit of a trick question. Build a 5 of 4. You do, you build a 1 chord. It's kind of hard to distinguish since the 1 chord is already major and it's already tonic, how we can tonicize 4 by starting with 1. So typically how we do it is we make it 5/7 of 4. And this is one way you can ensure that a chord that is already major doesn't appear just to be itself, but is different. Okay. Normally, diatonically, if you were to make a 1/7 chord, it would be a major-major 7th chord. But if we are making it the dominant feel, then we need to make it a major-minor 7th chord, which puts the B flat. So in this case, the indicator that you're dealing, the smoking gun, as you will, that you're dealing with a secondary dominant will be a lowered note. And so here's how you might encounter it. So it does start off with just the good old 1 chord. 5/7 of 4, of course, will resolve to 4. So simply what will happen is you'll encounter te in that, and that resolves nicely to 1. You remember, if this is a complete 7th chord, the triad afterward will be incomplete, so we have the triple root. And that's the best way to do it to avoid any problems, and to avoid double thirds or parallels or cross relations and things like that. Okay, let's see if we can hear it. This will be an example that will have 7 chords. There will be a total of 7 chords in this example. So let me make a little extra space. Do on the bass, 1 in the space. We're still dealing with major mode as normal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll even give you the voicing since you know that's probably what it's going to be. Let's do the bass only dictation first. 7 chords. Here we go. Let's hear that again. All right, SATB now. Here we go. All right, one more time. Oh, and most of all, don't forget that you will need to use 1 or more accidentals when you're dealing with secondary dominants. Not just 1 or more accidental in the chord itself, but to cancel the accidental later if you need to. So make sure you have the proper accidentals. This is written straight with no bar lines, so none of the accidentals are canceled. Make sure that that's correct and proper too, so that we can make sure that you are most accurate and don't end up inadvertently changing a later chord without meaning to do so. Okay, great. So we'll look forward to checking these next time we meet. We'll see you guys soon.